Alright, what we're looking at here is the inside of the 8100 series Ricoh Production black and white series machine. And what we're going to look at now is basically the feed path through the engine and a little bit about possible jam removal, although this machine does not jam very frequently. It's a good unit. First, when you look at this machine, given to you by the manufacturer is a nice little diagram found on the inside of the machine. Note you'll find this information also in your operator's panel, and a very similar display would be seen in the control panel should a misfeed occur within the engine. You'll note that on here it labels the different jams as A, B, C, D, E, or Z inside of the machine, so depending upon what's displayed on the panel will be the functions that you'll go to for the jam removal itself. You'll also note below it there are some optional accessories you may or may not have, which would throw slightly different jam codes like V codes in an LCT, Q codes in a cover interposer, N codes in a trifolder, and a MC code in a ring binder or possibly a perfect binder device. With that being said, let's look at the path at the machine. Here's tray 1 as seen right here. So essentially what happens out of any of the main body trays is a feed and reversing roller is going to pick the paper up and feed it up this path right here, leading this way into the registration deck. Any misfeeds that might occur here would be labeled as an A jam and are simply removed by lowering the A1 lever and thus turning both handles simultaneously 15 times. 15 times is the magic number on this Ricoh box for the rotation of various dials in order to move paper from one position to another to make the jam easily removed. Once paper is fed up, it's going to enter what is known as the registration deck. In order to get this open, you'll note that there is a handle here labeled C1 and a label here C2, which we'll flip both, and then grabbing, we can pull the registration and fusing deck to us. Jams making it out of the tray and entering into the registration deck are known as Bs. They are fed up this path right here, coming across into registration. Should I have a misfeed, I can open this handle here and by rotating the dial, spin the feed rollers to drive the paper to where I can get it. You'll note this machine has the active registration deck that you've seen on some of the other production machines, meaning that it can physically move paper and register paper to a 0.5 millimeter, both front to trail and side to side on this particular engine. That occurs through a sensor mechanism which is sitting underneath these plates that tells this little piece how far to move should paper be misregistered side to side. Paper is then fed across to these belts which lead into the fuser. This is very warm. You want to be very careful working around it. Fuser jams are D-coated jams, so you could just grab the piece of paper from here and remove it. However, there's a handle here to open up, but in order to get to the paper, seen in between the nip of these rollers, you will need the fusing handle found on the left drawer. That will fit right here and allow you to rotate out any misfed paper. Okay. You also have a release here in order to access the paper. Paper likes to go down into the inversion unit because we're a first in, first out company. We need to put page 1 on the bottom and 20 on the top for proper orientation. So paper will generally travel this direction down to invert before being kicked out. You may find paper in this area here. You'll also note this is also the path leading into the duplex area, which is labeled as a Z. So, in order to get paper out here, there's a handle and a lever, which you would rotate up to 15 times. And note, paper has a tendency to stick to the top due to static. So although you may not see it here, it may actually be stuck to the top, and that's where that piece of paper is hiding on you. Note, it leads from Z2 over here to Z number 3, where the paper is, and likewise another handle for turning. Once paper is removed, you can close this area. Note, both handles should lock into place easily. There's one more area known as the actual purge area. This machine is intelligent. Should a piece of paper misfeed outside of the box in a finisher somewhere downstream and not originate within the engine, this unit will purge all of the paper into this area. And during a duplex run of 8.5 by 11 long edge paper, there could be up to 5 or 6 sheets being fed in the engine. So that will all purge into this area seen right here. Note, all these pages are good. They're all fused. However, they must be removed before the job can restart and finish from where it left off. It's a little introduction to the inside of a 8100 series Ricoh production black and white printer.